He called me a terrorist. He had no idea I was the one deciding if he'd keep his federal job. I'm a federal inspector. I was sent to this airport because hundreds of Muslims had been flagged, pulled aside, and denied boarding for no reason. My job was simple. Walk in, see what happens, find out if it was true. It took 30 seconds. I hadn't even reached the checkpoint when he saw me. Beard, prayer cap. That's all it took. The ticket fell out of his hand. He didn't pick it up. He grabbed his radio instead. Need backup now. 3 officers surrounded me before I said a single word. He ripped my prayer cap off my head, held it up like a trophy, shook it in front of a crowd that was already pulling out their phones to record. A mother grabbed her kids and stepped back like I was contagious. He looked at the crowd and said it loud enough for everyone to hear. This is why we screen these people so carefully. He dropped my cap on the floor. On purpose. Then he swabbed my hands 3 times, pressing so hard it left marks on my skin. And the crowd? They ate it up. A businessman gave him a thumbs up. People nodded along like he was a hero. He dragged me into a glass room, made me lift my shirt, and when he saw the bruise on my forehead from years of prayer, the mark every devout Muslim carries, he laughed. He called his buddies over. They crowded the doorway laughing, slapping their knees, pretending to be scared of a bruise on a praying man's head. Then it stopped being funny. He slammed me into the wall, drove his knee into my spine, zip-tied my wrists so tight my fingers went numb. He called me a filthy terrorist while his co-workers nodded along like this was normal, like this was fine. Then he went through my bag. He threw my prayer rug on the ground and ground his boots into it. He ripped my Quran apart, page by page, watching them fall like trash. He smashed my prayer beads against the wall. He poured my prayer oil over my head until it burned my eyes. Then he found my mother's heart medication, and he stomped every single bottle flat. There goes your terrorist mother's heart medication. I want you to sit with that for a second. Then he found my wallet, my family photo, my wife, my daughters, and that's when this stopped being about hate and became something so much darker. He stared at the photo too long. His hand drifted to his weapon, and then he said words about my wife and my teenage daughters that I will not repeat because some things don't deserve to be said twice. He memorized our home address off my license, slid the photo into his pocket like a souvenir. That's when the door flew open. The airport director burst in already furious about flight delays and froze 3 feet inside the room. He looked at the crushed pills, the torn pages, the oil dripping down my face, and he went pale. Special Agent Rashid. The TSA agent's whole body changed. The director pointed at me, hand shaking. Inspector General's office. This was a compliance test. My family photo slipped out of his pocket and hit the floor. Cut him loose, the director screamed, and the agent flinched so hard he knocked his own knife off the table. He scrambled after it on his hands and knees, crawling through my mother's scattered pills like the floor was on fire. I stood up and said the only words he needed to hear. This was a federal compliance audit. He started gasping, ripped his own collar open, buttons flying, grabbed fistfuls of torn Quran pages like they'd save him. Marshals found him later curled in the corner, still clutching my family's photo. They had to pry his fingers off it one by one. I showered in the director's private bathroom, made my flight on time, and that airport, it lost millions in federal funding the same week. He wanted to know what a terrorist looks like. Now the whole country knows what a coward looks like instead.